The popularity of the 1979 TV movie led to another, unfortunately decidedly lesser movie the next year. It had all kinds of problems, and we'll talk about it. One of the worst things is the endless stream of irrelevancies. Here we have the bad guy's brothers all being murdered for no really good reason. No one ever investigates. The bad guy just kills them. Why even show this to us? It's irrelevant, and it's not the last irrelevant thing we'll see. You'll also notice that the bad guy is going to be Jonathan Winters. Now, Jonathan Winters is a great guy. Great, funny guy. A lot of just great talent. But he's not the best choice for the bad guy in this movie, as you shall see. So this is 5 years after the last movie. So this time we start with Artie. He's doing slightly better than the last time. You'll notice that his name is on everything to do with this production.
Go back to Washington for another mission? You must be mad. I don't care if Professor Albert Paradine wants to blow up the universe. I'm not in that business anymore.
You don't mean that, Mr. Gordon.
Oh, yes, I do. I'm quite content right where I am.
Would you reconsider if Jim West agrees to come back?
He'll never do it.
What if he does?
He gave me his word. He swore to me the Loveless case was going to be his last. I only signed on for one pipsqueak. He said you couldn't get him to leave his Mexican paradise if you begged him on bended knee.
But what if we do?
Joseph, if you can get James West to agree to come back, I'll come back too without a murmur. Fair enough?
Mr. Gordon, you've got a deal.
Fair enough. Bye, Joseph. Never in a million years.
So now here's another irrelevancy. Jim is, for some reason, being shot at. Who's the woman? Who are those guys? They're just irrelevant. They show up every so often to shoot at Jim and go away.
There's another madman loose on the world. Director Malone said you might have certain reservations about taking another assignment. It means risking your life.
You got it.
Marty.
I am not talking to you.
Well, that's a fine how do you do. I thought you'd be happy to see me.
You swore to me. You gave me your word. The Loveless case was going to be our last. Never again, you said. I love it too much down there in Mexico.
I do.
Well, then why aren't you down there? Why'd you let somebody talk you into coming up here?
Same reason you let someone talk you into coming up here. Our flag.
What?
Our flag, Artie. Our country needs us.
Not that bad.
So, another getting back in shape montage, and same joke. Jim works out, and Artie basically doesn't. Love how this thing almost falls over on Robert Conrad. Whoa! So they head off to what will turn out to be Paradine's town. And we meet our evil guy, Albert Paradine II. Now, why the second? I don't know, because there was never an Albert Paradine in the show. There was never an Albert Paradine bad guy in the original show.
Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to Parsons Ridge. I'm Professor Albert Paradine II, but you can call me Al.
Artie. He's the spitting image of his father.
Remarkable. Well, I should imagine that you're a bit thirsty after your long journey.
Yes.
Perhaps you'd care for some champagne. I have some 6 bottles on ice over at the Daisy Saloon. Should we saunter over there?
Great idea.
Just a minute. How did you know the exact time we'd arrive here?
Champagne. I knew the exact time that you were leaving Washington, D.C. And every movement after that, I knew. Yes, I know why you're here and what you're looking for.
A little bit of overacting there.
Shall we have some champagne, gentlemen?
Champagne, Jim.
So now we have our exposition to explain everything to us, which is lazy.
Did you kill your 4 brothers?
Yes, yes, I did.
Why?
They were a disgrace to the Paradine name. Suddenly became honest, decent, God-fearing men. They had to go.
You know, from what we know of your father, I'd say you're a slice off the old Paradine fruitcake.
For starters, I intend to dominate the entire world.
You and fresh point of view for a madman.
Nothing as brilliant as my predecessors, understand?
Have you come up with something new?
Not new. Something as old as mankind itself. Man's will to destroy himself.
This is a little bit of a throwback to an episode of the old TV show, Night of the Brain, in which a madman decides he wants to start a series of wars so that he can seize power in the entire world.
Shall there be some survivors? Helpless? It will be mine. I shall call this World War I. Then, if need be, another World War II. That way I can keep them straight in my mind.
Want to take him with us, or would you rather just slap his wrist and send him home?
I think you'll find either one infinitely more difficult than the other. I shall leave you, gentlemen, in a most unusual manner.
He can become invisible.
I'm still here, gentlemen.
He used practical effects for him, his invisible leaving the bar.
Ladies, has Professor Paradine ever disappeared before?
Oh, sure. He does it all the time to make the girls nervous.
To make the girls nervous?
When you can't see a man, he's liable to be in all sorts of places where men aren't supposed to be.
Frightening.
Shocking.
Yep. It's the Loveless bomb again. In fact, it's exactly the Loveless bomb again. Guess they couldn't afford a new prop.
What was that?
That's just Albert playing with his bombs.
And another irrelevancy.
Top of the morning, gentlemen. You remember me, Colonel Sir David Edney, British Intelligence.
I remember Captain Edney.
Ah, yes, well, in our organization, the best of us rise to the top very rapidly.
And another irrelevancy. The Mexicans who were trying to kill Jim somehow track him to the train and start shooting it up.
Full steam ahead! On! Full steam ahead! On!
He actually hit the guy with the...
To British Intelligence and Miss Merrivale Merriweather. Truly a lovely opponent.
We get another expositionary scene where, this time including the Brits.
Spoil your little party. This man is wanted in my country for the murder of a British citizen. I'm ordering the 2 of you to place him under arrest, take him back to Washington so that your government can hand him over to my government so that we can take it back to London for a proper hanging.
You're ordering us? Aren't you just a little out of your jurisdiction?
Oh. Well, Since you refuse to comply, I'm afraid I shall have to place him under arrest myself.
Oh, please do, Colonel Edney. Place me under arrest. As you see, I have none of my men about the room. I don't need any.
Oh, well, in that case, Professor Albert Paradine II, I hereby place you under arrest for the murder of Winston Paradine.
Bye-bye. Colonel Edney, over here. You tried to kill me. Definite breach of hospitality. I want all of you, understand, off my territory within 24 hours.
When did Nevada secede from the Union?
Everything I control is mine. Everything within 100 miles of any direction is mine.
Another irrelevant bomb.
Say, that was a wall banger.
Hey, P2, I just want you to know one thing. As far as all of us are concerned, you're just another demented, antisocial madman.
Wrong. Antisocial, sane madman.
What?
Ciao, ciao, bambinos.
The exact same sequence of the practical effects.
From now on,
Here's the one good joke.
I wouldn't want you mucking things up any more than you already have.
Us mucking things up?
You're the biggest mucker I've ever known.
Come, Mirabel.
What's a mucker?
Stern letter of protest from the British government.
So here is a new character. This is Henry Messenger, Secretary of State. He's played by Victor Buono. He's a parody of Henry Kissinger, a foreign policy guru in the 1970s.
The president.
To what extent?
So this is the real Henry Kissinger. As you can see,
And the Soviet Union enemy.
Buono does a very nice parody.
Back to the first question.
But you might remember Buono from something else.
Prime Minister Zhou Enlai is as right as he often is.
Something else from the original show.
Visiting American newspaper editors that I was the only man he knew who could talk for half an hour without saying anything.
Hurry, ladies!
Count Manzeppi. He was Count Manzeppi, one of the best villains of this ill show. Why on earth would they pick Jonathan Winters, who I like a lot, to be the villain and not Victor Buono? It's terrible. What idiot decided to waste Victor Buono on an irrelevant parody?
Those timeless words of the Byzantine Emperor Herodotus, si nihil vincitatem negatatem. If you can't beat 'em, kill 'em. Malone, the Queen herself has contacted me now, which makes this whole mess extremely embarrassing. Line, man, or you read the sign wrong or something.
So they hunt for the hideout
You're
and
saying?
ha 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 ha.
Oh, shut up.
So Paradine's hideout is an irrelevancy again. It's an irrelevant parody of Las Vegas.
Weird and unreal about this place.
It's like fun to me.
The casino is specifically a parody of the old Circus Circus casino.
Come on, deal.
As you can see, it's got various circusy things, including elephants and other animals, and slot machines. Those are actually period-appropriate slot machines.
Honorable brothers.
And they get captured. And now we get another irrelevancy, a parody of The Incredible Hulk. You remember him. Back when he was played by Lou Ferrigno, the guy, all other Hulks are still measured.
Does animal regulations know those two are loose?
Well, from the looks of them, they could be rabid. You ought to give them shots.
I'll give him a shot.
They get put into a dangerous trap, and we get a little bit of what Jonathan Winters can do with this character. I still would have preferred Buono, but here's a little bit of John Winters at his most threatening.
Oh, yes, I'm sure your view from up there would give you a different perspective on things.
I doubt it.
You know, you both have been a great disappointment to me. Yes, you provided me with nothing with regard to a challenge. Something I could get my teeth into. Here I slipped a little noose for you, and your necks went into it. What a shame. You know, gentlemen, I'm at my very best when I'm under pressure. Incidentally, I shall be going to Washington tomorrow to see your own good friend, Dr. Messenger, who's in charge of the peace conference. Perhaps the most important in this half-century.
Well, we haven't been briefed on world news lately.
Makes no difference. Once the conference is over, then, of course, one half the world will be at war with the other half. Then, hopefully, total Holocaust, if not something similar to it, watered down, perhaps. Meantime, gentlemen, I bid you adieu. Ta-ta for now, and have an agonizing time of it.
From here, it gets a little murky. Jim and Artie escape. They get recaptured by Paradigm and led to another irrelevancy, a parody of the old Let's Make a Deal game show.
My chance to play a little game with you. Mr. West, let's make a deal.
Back then, you could pick between door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3 at the end of the show. But here we don't even get 3. So Jim is threatened with Cobra Death. Artie shows up getting a costume from somewhere and helps him escape. So they escape. And we run across the Mexicans again.
I knew he wouldn't let us get away with it.
That's not AP2. It's Juanita.
So Jim solves the whole problem with a kiss. So this whole irrelevancy is at last behind us.
Why can't you be like this all the time?
So Paradigm gets away and heads for Washington in a balloon, which somehow beats Jim and Artie in their train to Washington.
Lovely day to be up this lovely balloon.
So at the conference, Artie will go undercover in a great little sequence. Probably the best sequence in the movie.
Artie?
Yes.
I have your credentials.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect forgery. I know I did it myself. You're the ambassador of Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein?
A direct descendant of the Earl of Liechtenstein. An officer in the war.
Oh.
You were wounded in combat.
Wounded in combat.
And you still have a piece of lead in your leg.
Piece of lead in the leg.
Which causes a slight limp.
A slight limp, yes. Which side did I fight on?
Pick one.
I fought with the English, French, Sardinians, and Turks against the Russians.
And now you fight for peace.
Oh, peace. Goodbye.
Artie, we'll keep in touch through Dr. Messenger.
Very good.
Artie.
Sorry. For peace.
I am Gentlemen. Gentlemen.
How about blintzes? You ever had blintzes? Blintzes are fantastic.
This meeting will come to order.
So this is the peace conference, which, of course, will irrelevantly turn into a fist fight. Sort of, gentlemen, you can't fight in here, it's the war room kind of joke.
Meeting will come to order.
Dr. Messenger, before you do this, the Russian delegation would like to ask the German delegation a question.
Why?
To determine whether the Russian government intends to remain for the duration of this conference.
Gentlemen, now. Gentlemen. Gentlemen, this is a peace conference.
Ha ha.
And take what get you have. I wouldn't have believed it myself if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. What makes you so sure that AP2 had nothing to do with it?
I don't think even AP2 can put 6,000 German troops in Cuba.
You're probably right. It really doesn't matter who's responsible, though, does it? Point is, AP2 had exactly what he wanted out of this.
Wrong. I didn't get what I wanted. As it stands now, the nations are all improperly aligned. Don't you see? It's Great Britain, it's France, it's Germany and Russia against Spain and Italy. What kind of a war is that? Would last 2 weeks at the most. Can't these devils put a decent war together?
You're not going to let a little setback like that stop you now, are you?
Of course not. Fall back on Plan 2. You'd like to know what Plan 2 is, wouldn't you, Mr. West?
Not unless you want to tell us.
But I shall tell you. You see what I've done? I put the little bombs in the various capitals. Right? London, Paris, Berlin, Moscow, Madrid. You see? And of course, when they go off, complete devastation. My problem will be, of course, whether to blame the Germans for Paris, or Paris for Madrid, or Madrid for the Russians, or eradicate Berlin and blame the English.
Possibilities are endless.
Fair enough.
Please, Mr. West, rather a feeble attempt to lock me in. Don't be foolish. Mr. Gordon. Watch quickly. Bye-bye. I can't believe it. You're not the two hopeless incompetents I thought you were.
You know that bomb may go off at any minute?
Yes, I set the timer.
So now that Paradigm has spent all his time trying to foment a war, he decides to just blow everybody up.
I found out something rather interesting. That when I'm invisible, my body changes entirely. Here's the 2 sticks of dynamite. Put those in my hands. Have them go off, and I'm not even scratched.
Oh, please.
Forward to standing in the middle of the Holocaust. You 2 gentlemen will be in the middle of Washington. Boom! Gone! Myself, not one hair lost. Well, gentlemen, see you in eternity. Something's wrong. I'm not invisible. Help me! Help me!
You do something. You built it, defuse it.
I can't. It would take too long.
So, of course, Artie can defuse it by just yanking on wires with a popping sound.
Well, here goes nothing. Thank God! I'm alive! Alive!
There we are.
Oh, look, it's Edney.
Whenever you wish.
No, you leave him alone. He belongs to me.
Now, he's irrelevant because what's going to happen is captured him and now, and he gives him
He's
away.
yours.
Good thing he was here.
Colonials to last me a lifetime.
I'm going back to Great Britain for good.
My regards to Her Majesty.
Really?
Well, gentlemen, go away. Now, you evil, brilliant fellow, you come along with me. We got secrets to share. It would have been such a beautiful moment. Be standing in the center of the city. Complete devastation all around me. Bodies falling like rag dolls. Work gloves, horseless carriages.
What? Sounds like an ad lib that didn't work.
You got your papa's eyes. Oh, your son. Hey, then, come on. What happened?
So that's basically it. Story was padded out with endless irrelevancies and jokes that just plain fall flat. And why in the peanut butter smeared heck did somebody not make this a Count Menzepi story? There was talk at the time about doing a TV movie every year. A Wow Wow West TV movie every year. And maybe even restarting the weekly show. Unfortunately, Ross Martin died the next year of a heart attack. So this is the last of the original Wow Wow West. And I think it's sad that the 1979 gem was followed on by this dull effort. Bye-bye.
Artie? Maybe we are getting too old for this sort of thing.
I am very disappointed!